remember, this thing takes forever to freaking load. And I need a clean shot for my title sequence, or for my intro sequence here, so I can put it on my playlist. But, of course, that's going to be cut down to nothing, and my vocals here are going to be taken out of it. But let's wait for this thing to load. Welcome, everybody. You don't see my face just yet, but I will be here eventually. My name is Thorn, and this is the Game Design Lexicon. Today we are going to be playing some Project Space Station by the publishing company HESWare. You'll notice that the developers, or the programmer's name of it, give me just 1 second. The programmer's name of it was, so HESWare, in case you're not familiar with the company, was an early game developing company. They made a lot of really awesome games, especially sports games. HES Games was probably one of the games that I played the most by them, and this one, of course. So this game in particular, you notice the coding credit down at the bottom was Lawrence Holland. Lawrence Holland and Ron Gilbert both originally started off at HESWare and eventually moved to LucasArts. And if you're not familiar with both those names, both Lawrence Holland and Ron Gilbert, of course, would go on to work on the Monkey Island games. He was pretty much the creative mind behind those games at LucasArts. And as far as Lawrence Holland went on to also work for LucasArts, except he made another very famous series, the X-Wing / TIE Fighter series. He was pretty much either the lead coder or the creative director for pretty much every one of those games. So we are going to be playing some Project Space Station today, just in case you didn't catch. My name is Thorn. This is the Game Design Lexicon, and today we're playing Project Space Station by HESWare. I'm not exactly sure how long this is going to take. Just in case, again, that you're not familiar with it, it is pretty much what it sounds like. It is a very early management simulation where you manage an entire space program. That includes budgeting, it includes the launches, the landing of the shuttles. This is, of course, back in the shuttle era. Building the station, pretty much the whole kit and caboodle, hiring people, the lot. So it doesn't really take up a lot of space on that screen there, does it? Yeah, I think I said earlier that when it came to the Commodore games, because the Commodore 64 has a border on the edge of the screen, and that's pretty much just a feature of the Commodore 64. And I said when I started playing these that I wasn't going to compensate for it. In this game in particular, since it sets it black and the rest of the screen black, it obviously looks like it's just a lot of blank space, huh? So I got my coffee today. Today is Friday. I hope you got a lot of good stuff planned for your weekend. And I hope you're doing well today. Let's get some music started because, of course, I have a feeling this is going to require it. How about some September jazz? So for some reason, some jazz sounds like it'd be perfect for doing some space station management simulator stuff. Now, one thing about this game is when I played it as a kid, there was always a certain point that I could never get past when you're doing research missions, which is, of course, the main point of the game is to do the R&D stuff. You can see it up at the top, R&D. The problem is when you did the R&D missions, okay, just want to make sure our joystick's working. By the way, as far as joysticks go, I just recently went through an ordeal with the guys. Oh, that's why. Right. Did I need to swap that? No, because now it's not working. Let's see. Let's pull that swap joysticks off. Let's go ahead and look at input devices. No, it says it's on the right joystick port. Okay, well, that makes sense because it's working. Anyway, so there was always a certain point that I couldn't get past of the R&D stuff. For some reason, it would tell me that I needed a certain person, and I couldn't figure out what that person was that I needed for the mission. So let's get started here now. I guess we will go ahead and just jump straight into the game. I was thinking about maybe doing the tutorials and stuff, but I have the ability to do save states and stuff. So if I screw stuff up, I can always go back. I've already saved state 1 for this. So we got that. So let's go ahead and start a new mission, right? By starting a new mission, you will build and operate a space station from the ground floor up. Careful, the current mission will be lost. Enter mission name. Let's call it Thornful. Mission Thornful, full of thorns. So proceed to plan to begin designing your space station. So you'll notice that we now have the ability to select our different... So this is the menu. Again, there's a lot of conventions in this game that that were unheard of at the time. It's one of those games that they just don't really make anymore today, anything like it. On top of that, not only do they not make anything like it, they also don't... a lot of the conventions that this game had seem to have made it to a lot of modern games, which is really interesting. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to the planning phase now. While we are planning our thing, and we haven't done submarine approval, which is the last thing that we'll do. We are stuck at, what is that, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So July 1st, 1985. And yes, I just counted that out on my hands, even though I don't know why I did. You know that the 7th month is one half past the year, which is going to be July, right? So you shouldn't really need to do that. But during the later months, I tend to have to do that a lot. So I don't know. Anyway, let's get started here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to allocate budget. We have 10,000 million available. So that's $10 billion available, I guess is what that means. I got a little bit of a graphic glitch going on there. I wonder why. So again, one of the things that may happen, because I'm completely unsure about the version that I used. I have a few versions of the game. Some of them actually have cracked screens on them. Some of them don't have the little title screen that it had while it was loading, which I desperately really wanted. Some of them have a different colored title screen, and I'm not sure if they're like maybe a different version, like PAL version as opposed to the United States version, NTSC, versus PAL. But yeah, so let's start off by setting our planning to $1 billion. $1 billion. So $100 million, right? Or $1,000 million. That's a weird way of saying it now, isn't it? Equipment, same thing. We're going to set that to the same. Modules, let's go ahead and double that. I'm probably going to need a lot more in it than this, but let's just start off with that. Operations. Now, operations is our standard operating expenses. It's where salaries and stuff come out of, as well as repairing and refueling our shuttle, right? And then R&D, we don't need nearly as much in. Let's do 400 million, right? And then let's exit out. Go back into planning. Crew selection. Now, this one's pretty straightforward. First thing that we are going to need before we need anything is we're going to need pilots and aerospace flight engineers, I think. So, let's go ahead and give this a load. Maybe I should put the quick load on. I wonder if that'll work. Because that would be nice. MS Aeronautics and Astronautics Space Construction Trainee. Lockheed Aerospace. Before the trainee program was initiated, Frucci was supervisor of Earth satellite assembly. Outgoing and affable, sometimes seems totally preoccupied by recreation and socializing. An expert on the job, but by no means a workaholic, ready for any new adventure that comes along, space flight being just the most recent. His past history is an amazing story of globe-trotting and adventuring, a lover of the outdoors, vehement about environmental conservation issues. Nice. Last read book, Treasure Island. Last accomplishment, hiked the entire Appalachian Trail last summer as part of his own space fitness and survival training. Quote, it's 5 o'clock, time to party. Associates assessments, Frankie, what would we do without him? Probably die of boredom. Okay. So yeah, let's hire him. Crew member added to space duty roster. We're going to have 2 flight engineers. We're going to have 2 pilots. That way we have a crew that can man each shuttle. The missions going up and down. And then we're going to take a look at the research and development projects. We're going to find the one that we want to do, and we're going to hire the crew that we need for those guys, right? So we need 2 flight engineers and 2 pilots right now, more than anything. We need 6 crew members to even start to make it past the planning stage. So let's go ahead, and here's another flight engineer, Mr. Millhouse. I wonder if I can put on the fast drive speed. I think I might try that after this guy. That way I don't have to keep on waiting for it to load. Not that the loading time's too bad. Born 1952, flight engineer, PhD physics. After 10 years in the U.S. Air Force, Gretchen Millhouse, nice, a woman. Moved into private industry, specializing in fluid mechanics at UMES Research. Currently studying automated control systems for the Terminal Configured Vehicles program. I really like that font, by the way. That font is really nice. Serious interviewer comments. Serious, dedicated to her work, fiercely independent without being overbearing or arrogant. Surprisingly, she works well with others on research teams. However, she likes to be in charge, calling the shots. She's a superb technician, continually reporting the unfixable. Great organizational abilities. Gretchen wrote the book on EVA maintenance and procedure. Last book read, How to Build a Working Robot from TV Spare Parts. Interesting. Last accomplishments, designed a home control computer system that won praise from experts in many industries. That's actually kind of innovative for 1985. I mean, obviously we've had dreams of doing it since the 40s and 50s, hence the cartoons, the Tex Avery cartoons that we used to have about that. But for somebody to actually say that they've done such a thing in the 80s was kind of innovative. Let's see, quote, our move into space provides us with the greatest engineering challenges. Associate assessments, definitely a go-getter. So let's go ahead and pop her on as our second flight engineer. I don't think we're going to need a third one. Now we need pilots, a shuttle pilot, right? So Jay Steele, I tell you what, before we do that, let's do a state save. Desktop, Project Space Station, and I already have a 1. So now we have a 2. And what I'm going to do is I am going to change my preferences to do a virtual drive. Okay. Do that. And then now that that's been changed, let's restart real quick. Let's see if that loads. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That went fast. Is it going to go any faster? And it does. It does. It goes quite fast. Unfortunately, of course, now we have no loading noises, which means the game probably now has no noises. We'll see. We'll see how well that goes. Okay. And let's go ahead and load our snapshot. And there we go. So Jay Steele is our shuttle pilot. Did we? Oh shit! It's still taking its sweet time to load. Disk drive error. Okay, well that solves that issue, huh? So I guess we are going to need that drive set for... Oh, wait a second. True drive emulation? I thought I disabled that. Okay. So I just changed that. Let's go ahead and load to... we still have the other guys. One on ground, one on ground. Shuttle pilots. Give me a sec, checking my settings real quick. So for some reason it re-clicked True Drive emulation, which I didn't want it to do. I don't know. Huh. Actually, I think I'm just going to turn all that off because it didn't seem to be working. And reload that state. So, flight engineer, and shuttle pilot. So we're just going to tolerate the loading, which is no big deal. It is what it is, you know. I mean, I would have had to done so, you know, back in the day. Okay, 1950. Specialty shuttle pilot. MS in Aeronautics, major in the U.S. Navy, began career as a flight tester for the Navy. Became involved in the space program back in the Apollo days, was astronaut backup for Apollo 7 and 14. Recently was flight engineer on 3 shuttle missions. Unconventional, possesses all the skills of a completely professional astronaut without all the usual trappings of a military man. In his younger days was considered a maverick, but his years of service have mellowed him quite a bit. He still is very straightforward and blunt, especially with his superiors and NASA administrators. Last book read, Space, the Last Frontier. Last accomplishments, argued a NASA administrator into agreeing to provide more funding for astronaut safety training. Quote, people always know me where I stand. Associates assessments. Besides being a super pilot, he's a super guy. Well, that's enough for me, huh? We got another shuttle pilot here, Mr. Sullivan. Of course, it has their salaries, $78K. I think there's actually a set salary of these guys. I don't think that's strictly true. Okay, C. Sullivan, born 1940. Wow, he was born before my dad. I think my dad was born in 42. My dad was born exactly 1 month after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, January 7, 1942, right? Because Pearl Harbor was on December 7, 1941, right? Anyway, let's see. Degrees and experience. PhD of aeronautics, colonel in the U.S. Air Force, was a fighter pilot for 3 tours of duty over North Vietnam. Member of the space program since 1970, he has flown as a shuttle pilot for 2 previous shuttle missions. Interview comments, truly a living legend. His exploits in Vietnam are the stuff of movies. Very reticent, allows his actions to speak for him. Has a quiet intensity and inner strength that makes him ideal for handling the pressure of command. Definitely leads by example, predictable and dependable. Strives for perfection without becoming competitive. Has complete knowledge of every technical area of the space shuttles. Nice. Last book read, The Bible. Last accomplishments, Man of the Year Award from the Aberdeen School District PTA. Quote, the young people of today look up to us. We must set a good example. Well, that's true anyway. Associate assessment. Colonel Sullivan has my complete respect and full admiration. So now we have shuttle pilot number 2. Let's exit our crew selection. So I'm not going to bother with, let's see, space equipment. So we're going to need 6 spacesuits. 6? We're probably going to need 12 spacesuits, actually. So 6 per shuttle, right? Depending on how many people we have go up. Right now, however, I think we're only going to get 6. Man maneuvering unit. This is for our guys to go out and maneuver around. I'm only going to do 1 of those because they're kind of expensive. Orbital construction pod for right now. Again, only 1 because they're kind of expensive. Payload assistant modules. Now, these things right here are how we get some extra money by launching satellites. We're going to buy 2 of those, and then we're going to buy twice as many in satellites, right? Reserve fuel tanks. Let's grab 2 of those. Let's grab 4 satellites. Those are kind of expensive. We're not going to bother with the research packs until we know what we need. So let's go ahead and exit. That's our equipment. And then we'll go to, before we do module selection, let's do space station design. Let's see how we're going to design our space station. Okay, so early pre-mouse cursor movements, right? Your space station automatically starts off with a docking module, right? So normally our shuttle will be falling around this area. So I want to start off by putting on a hangar module, right? So that's a hangar. Then we're going to need a power module. This is a power module, right? Let's rotate that. Bonk. Oh, bonk, maybe. There we go. And then a radiator module. This helps cool the space station down. Go ahead and plop that sucker on there. Okay, now we have, what do we have left? We have a laboratory. We have an emergency module. We're going to need both of those. We have a communications module. We're going to need that. And then we have a crew module. So let's start off with the crew module. Let's plop that down. Bonk. Oops. No, we need to connect that. There we go. And then, of course, we're going to need another docking module. Bonk. Right? You'll notice down below it has amount purchased. So we know how many we need. So we now have a crew module. Now we're going to need the 3 other modules that we don't have, which are a laboratory. We're going to rotate that. Now we're probably going to need more power modules and such, but we'll worry about that later. Right now we want to get the basis of everything we need just to start our research projects. So there is our laboratory. We also have an emergency module. And the first thing we'll probably do is to expand this is we'll expand it to have another set of power and radiator modules, because those things tends to need those. So there we go. Very basic space station. We have 1 laboratory, 1 crew module, which will be able to house 1 research team. Crew modules, I think, allow you to store like 8 crewmen. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it again. Laboratory for research, communications, and a hangar. And the way we'll want to ship these up: hangar first, crew module, docking, emergency module. Those will go so we can actually keep somebody up there. Then, of course, power, laboratory, communications. And let's... now we have the basic design. And eventually what we'll do is we'll end up stretching this out by putting another docking module. As a matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and do that? No, let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that for now. Let's go ahead and exit. So we're going to need to purchase pretty much 1 of everything, right? So module selection, 1 docking module, 1 crew module. Wow. So we've already spent our allotment right now. So for technical data, press fire. Nice. see what we got here. We'll read everything that comes up because it's kind of important, right? Not to mention it isn't going to hurt to stretch out the playing of this game. The docking module is the most basic building block of the space station. At least one docking module is required to begin construction. The module is used to connect other modules together at a four-way junction point. To build an efficient compact station, a number of docking modules are required to allow a vertical-oriented design. So, and of course, the first docking module is automatically put up there, right? Crew module is the main living quarters for the crew members on the space station. One is required for every 4 crew members. Because there is no gravity, the crew has no sense of up or down. They sleep in a floating position attached to a rack. There is a small bathroom and a food preparation area. A special area is set aside for exercising because the body's muscles become weakened in zero gravity. It is important for every crew member to maintain a regular exercise program. There are plenty of recreational items to keep the crew occupied. A small medical kit is provided to treat minor medical problems. I wonder if they come with a ping pong table. Okay, and then the laboratory module. The laboratory module is required for all R&D projects and experiments. It houses the equipment needed for general research, and no R&D work can be performed without one. The laboratory module has a larger component of tools than will be found in the res packs, but does not contain the specific instruments or supplies for certain projects. Up to 4 research projects may be worked on concurrently. So we only need 1 of those modules per 4 projects. However, crowding the module with more than 2 experiments decreases the quality of work and increases the likelihood of something going wrong. So try to give each project plenty of lab space. Will do. So we're out of money. Let's go allocate some more money to module, some more budget to modules, right? So let's take that up to another, guess let's take it up to another 2 million. 2 million. Exit. And then modules. And we said we pretty much need 1 of each, right? So emergency module. The emergency module provides protection from extreme radiation due to periods of high sunspot activity or solar flares. This module is very important in the event of a solar flare because without it, crew members are exposed to possibly harmful or fatal doses of radiation. And that's a perfect way. If you don't have one of those, it's a perfect way to kill your dudes. So definitely want to make sure that you have those before people stay up in your station for long periods of time. You should construct your station so that it includes this module. Without it, your crew runs a dangerous risk. Each emergency module can hold 8 crew members. So for every crew component module, we need 1/2 of this one, right? So for every 2 crew modules, we only need 1 of these. Anyway, this is Thorn with the Game Design Lexicon. We are currently playing Project Space Station for the Commodore 64, a wonderful mid-80s space project or space program simulator. If you like our content here, make sure you give me a follow on Twitch, where I do stream currently Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, noon p.m. till 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's GMT -6 for those of you who aren't in the United States. You can also catch my my content over on YouTube, not live, of course. Just hit the subscribe and the alert button to know we're coming out with new content, which pretty much every day. And we have an extensive backlog by now, since we've been doing this for a little while. You can watch all that and enjoy whatever content, whatever games that I've played. Otherwise, you can catch any of our other social media platforms that we occupy in our abouts on both of these platforms, and both Twitch and YouTube have all those links in them, including Blue Sky, Discord, Reddit, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take a short break, and I will be back with some more Project Space Station for the Commodore 64.